Hey, I know this is, oh boy, that's loud. This is a cold open here today. Just wanted to talk with you really quickly before we go into the open and before we go into the show. I think we're going to have Rudy Giuliani on the show. Look, every now and then when we get to do this show, we get to do it, and I mean that, even though this is a very dark day in American history, we get to do this with you. We get to experience it with you. This is one of those days that you are going to remember for the rest of your life. This is one of those days that you are going to be telling your children about, your grandchildren about. This is a line that has been crossed, a bell that has been rung that can't be unrung. And let me just tell you this before we move on today. We're going to get into what we know. There's a lot of misinformation out there, both sides, largely from the left and mainstream media. We'll get into what the FBI is doing, what the FBI is not doing. But before any of that, last night I thought about doing a video on Instagram, something while this was happening, or going to a live stream in that moment, because we've done that in the past. I was conflicted. And let me explain to you what I mean. You're mad? I'm mad. You're pissed, rightfully so. But you don't want to make decisions at that point. You want to make decisions that are measured and appropriate. And you don't want to interrupt your enemy while they're making a mistake. So that's what I was thinking about. And then I started thinking about, okay, strategy, what does this mean? Obviously, this is going to have some backlash with the midterms. How should we couch our words? I always try and be pretty prudent with issues like this. And then I found myself at the crossroads. If you have children, by the way, they shouldn't be watching the show today. At the crossroads of I don't care and fuck you. This is so wrong, so tyrannical. There needs to be a hill that you're willing to die on. This is it. Now, I don't mean literally. I'm not calling you to violence, unlike what's being implied on Twitter, Eric Swalwell with a fight like hell, banging Chinese spies. You're mad. Now, we don't need to make our decisions right now. We do need to wait for some information to come out. But the world needs to see that half of this country is pissed. I'm not saying make executive decisions while you're pissed, but we all need to hit the purge button. And the world needs to see you hit the purge button, and we get to hit the purge button with you. So I reserve the right to change my mind on some things that I say today. I reserve the right with new information to maybe change tact. But today's a day that we all have the right to be pissed off, to yell, to scream, to behave not as egregiously as the left. But it's time to fight fire a little bit with fire. And today we're also going to get into, I was really spending all night, and I didn't sleep much, thinking about what is it that I can do? What is it that we can do here where we can offer you quantifiable steps that you can take? And some of those are going to have to be addressed on Mug Club, not on YouTube. Not because it's a call for violence, not because it's a call for a physical civil war, but because I don't know the rule book and I know that they're on high alert over there at YouTube. We have an inside skinny on that. And before we get to anything else, and we're going to get into the show here today and hopefully have some fun with it as well, because I understand that's a big reason why you tune in, let's just dispel of this idea right on the outset that, oh, this is a Trump appointee to the FBI. Sure. Oh, this is a Trump appointee, the judge. Maybe. We'll get into that. Garland had to sign off on this. So, that's what you were saying. That's what they've been saying on CNN all morning, MSNBC, all the mainstream outlets. Look, this is just like the issue we discussed yesterday with the IRS. It's about job security. Do you mean to tell me that every single employee at your company looks out for the best interest of the boss who hired them? It could not be less relevant. It doesn't matter if they were appointed by President Trump. They can also betray people. These are people in government, entrenched, who value their job security and their benefits over your right to freedom. And here's something else. Yeah, we need to be prudent. We need to be measured. But there's a reason that you should be mad. And by the way, I wish I could say I bring you tidings of great joy. I think there is a silver lining. We'll get into that. There's a reason that you feel scared, and you should be. There's nowhere else to go. Let's be clear. There is nowhere else for this administration for these intelligence agencies to go, other than to conveniently use the radical expansion of the IRS to do this to you? That's their only next step. What else can they do? Beyond going in door to door like Gestapo and taking your guns, right? Like they did in places like Australia, mandatory buyback. Beyond the actual physical violence, there's nowhere else for them to go other than to do this to other people. And they've already taken measures yesterday with amendments and a process that was done in the dead of night in secret rooms so that you can be audited. You can be prosecuted. Your house can be raided. And by the way, it's happened to a lot of people. Sure, it's happened to James O'Keefe. You may not be familiar with what happened with us and the FBI. We'll get into that. It's okay to be mad. It's okay to be scared. I am. Everyone in the United States, and if the left understood what this meant, they would all be scared too. Because this goes both ways, and for the first time that I've advocated on the show, it should go both ways. You can't unring that bell. The next president of the United States needs to prosecute everyone. Needs to clean house everywhere. And I will tell you this, we'll get into this. Here's a purity test for you. Any Republican who does not actively, right now, within the next, what time is it? 10:18 Eastern? By noon today, any Republican right now in office or running for office who does not actively champion the defunding, the dismantling of our intelligence agencies, I will not vote for. Don't care who it is. Are you listening, Ted Cruz? Are you listening, DeSantis? Are you listening, Rubio? Are you listening, no? The term skeleton crew should be a generous application to what the FBI will be when the next president is through with them. This is not about backing the blue. It's not about guys with guns. It's about guys with pencils. It's about buttersoft bitches with clip-on ties who are just taking orders, just doing their job. Well, guess what? I know the people who are having you do this have promised that they'll kill you last, figuratively. That's never how it works out. So the extremes, the Bill Kristols of the world, the Lincoln Projects, I'm the good Republican. No, you're not. You're complicit with evil. And any Republican and any host, anyone who claims to put on our team jersey and doesn't actively advocate for the dismantling, dismembering, complete restructuring, if at all of our intelligence agencies, there is a special place in hell for people like you. It's one thing to wear the jersey of evil. It's another to try and link arms with us and then turn on us. How's that for a purity test? I'm pissed. This show's going to be different tenor and tone. Are you starting to get the picture? On with the show.
Get ready for Now That's What I Call Trump. In this compilation, your favorite president makes these hits his own.
Don't go chasing GDP. The median income is a better metric.
And who can forget the Pete Buttigieg song?
Splish splash, they were taking a bath, and it was a couple of eggs.
Voted on by the attendees at the weekly White House talent show, this collection is sure to make you want to get up and dance.
Nikki, don't lose my number. Might replace pets with someone else. I might. Haven't decided. Support the police, because they work really, really hard. News. It's all fake news. B-I-G-C. That's how you spell Hillary. B-I-G-C. Synonym for Hillary. Welcome to the hole called California. There's a homeless face. Poop all over the place. Lots of poop.
Now that's what I call Trump.
Now that's what I call Trump. It's available on CD and cassette. Call 1-800-MAGA-2020 for details.
Yeah, there's a sip. What the hell's the difference? We have a poll up on Twitter if we should completely abolish the FBI. I don't know if we can do polls on Twitter, but that's my question of the day to you.
You can.
Do you think the FBI should still be a thing? Comment below. It's a leading question. I don't care. I'm not a lawyer. Neither is a judge who signed off on this, by the way, necessarily. Who was,
Wait,
but then,
interesting information
interesting.
there.
Epstein.
What?
Can I get some Epstein here?
Gosh.
It's a live show Monday through Thursday. That's the best way to support. That's the best way to watch. Go to Rumble. Go to Mug Club, lightofscarter.com/Mug Club. We have, I believe, Rudy Giuliani in the show. We'll be doing an extended interview today. There's the podcast if you're on Spotify, if you're on Apple, Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern, because God only knows how long we'll be here. Yeah, we're on YouTube right now. I don't really care. Okay.
Are you pissed?
Yeah, I'm pissed. I'm pissed, and you know what? It's okay. Be pissed with us. We're going to be doing extended chat, too, by the way, on Mug Club. The reason we don't do chat on YouTube, well, a couple of things. First off, we do it with Mug Club exclusively because these people actually support, and they deserve that perk. Also, you can be held liable for the crazy crap that people say on YouTube and chat, and I don't really want to deal with it.
That's a fair point.
Gerald, how are you?
I'm pissed as well.
Yeah.
I'm pissed as well. But, fight like hell, man.
Everything's coming in a little bit loud, but you're coming in
Am I
loud. I
coming
think
in?
it could just be my headphone volume. And I'm on tour with him. You can go to lightofscarter.com/tour. September 16th, 17th. We're in Charleston, West Virginia on October 8th. But you know what? Today's not really about that. How are you, Mr. Dave Landau?
Ahoy, I'm good. I died, yeah.
Yeah.
Eric Swalwell has sex with Chinese spies.
He does.
That's a fact.
Unprotected.
I'll be in Fort Wayne at the end of August. That's a fact.
Okay.
And Eric Swalwell has sex with Chinese spies.
Yes, yeah. Isn't it weird? Isn't it weird when you fall into this cosmic bunny hole where you're like, Eric Swalwell gets to criticize me on Twitter?
I just saw that and I kept thinking, didn't you give information to Chinese spies while you were having sex with them?
Right.
Well,
Maybe it was before or after.
It was before, I
don't know if it
believe.
was during.
It was during.
It was payment for services.
It could have been whispering in her ear while he was having sex with Chinese spies.
Yeah, he just went, reconciliation!
Actually, it was.
I think I've done my constituents' bidding.
I don't know anything.
Yeah. Well, that's true.
Oh, I mean, he may not know much.
Yeah, he doesn't know.
But whatever little he knew, he shared with a Chinese spy.
He's
while
the
having-
radio of representatives.
He is.
That's a good one. Now,
Mr. Radio goes to Washington.
shopping cart. So you know this. Monday night, President Trump released a statement that federal agents raided the estate at Maralago. Now, we have some new information. And then I also think there's some context that's important here that a lot of other people are going to probably miss. We have what the FBI has been busy not doing
Right. Mm-hmm.
because of what they've been busy doing. And I want this to be a reference piece for you. I want you to be able to reference this episode whenever you say, hold on, what was it the FBI was doing? Whose houses did they raid? What warrants did they not serve? I'm doing my best to include all of that here today for you. But let me read a statement here from President Trump. It says, these are dark times for our nation as my beautiful home, Maralago in Palm Beach, Florida, is currently under siege, raided, occupied by a large group of FBI agents. It's prosecutorial misconduct, weaponization of the justice system, an attack. Look, you already know this. Okay. And this is why we need to fight like hell. By the way, you can go to the shop. It's not about the, if you don't want to buy the merch, it's just, this is about putting on a team jersey so people know where you stand.
Absolutely.
Actually, the one you have and the one Dave has is probably better, the George
exactly.
Washington one.
Right. It's about solidarity. You see
one's
somebody else, you
comfy.
know where they stand.
It's like half a Christian fish drawn on the sand.
The triangle part?
I don't know why I did the
the
triangle.
top
It's a
half.
curve.
Do the top half.
I don't have a protractor.
There you go.
They took mine at the airport.
So, no, they're really strict about that. So last night I tweeted this out really quickly, just so you can see the weaponization that's going to take place against you. Tomorrow's War, Sleep Well. Eric Swalwell decided to chime in. Here he is, laughing.
The only
That's
word
also-
he knows. Yeah.
That's also what the Chinese spy did after she had sex with him.
Yeah, well, she did it when he took off his pants.
She's like, in my country, they're even bigger.
You do foot binding on penis? So the FBI agents, they obtained a search warrant, okay, from a federal magistrate judge in West Palm Beach. Okay, the West Palm Beach location of the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of Florida, it has 3 magistrates. I don't know, some of you are thinking from role-playing games, you're like, what? Is that the...
No.
Thinking of Mage.
Think Judge.
As Bruce Reinhart, William Matthewman, Ryan McCabe. August 5th, the warrant was the application was assigned to Reinhardt. Now, let me give you a little bit of history on this judge, because people are saying, oh, this judge must be it's a Trump guy. Doesn't matter. Yeah. People turn on people all the time. We know that Garland would have had to sign off on this. We know that Wray would have had to know about this. That's what we did know this morning for sure. And just about 10 minutes ago, we were able to confirm this because there was a lot of information circulating, not all of it correct. I want to make sure that everything I bring you today is correct. And we have done our best. We have great researchers on it right now, producers, making sure to double check, cross our T's, dot our I's. So Reinhardt quit his job as U.S. attorney to defend Jeffrey Epstein's clients in 2008, ensuring, all but ensuring, that's a nice way of saying ensuring, immunity for sex trafficking.
Yeah, federal immunity.
Oh, so the predators still walk among us.
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Basically. And the most interesting part of this is that he started an LLC prior to leaving, listed his primary address for this business as Epstein's lead counsel's office.
And is that Panel Vans LLC?
Yes.
Yeah, well,
Candy and puppies?
Yes.
Is interesting.
Bed sheet rope.
Absolutely.
Security camera jammers incorporated.
Yeah.
Prisoner Pinatas?
Yes.
LLC?
Well, the good news is we have a bunch of new IRS agents who could audit it.
Well, that's true. Yes.
Right?
Maybe a step to be taken.
That's me holding my breath.
Yeah.
That's pantomiming something that'll never happen.
Time to audit child graves.
Well, look, and one of the reasons that this matters is because every single media outlet right now is saying, wow, they must have had so much evidence to be able to obtain that. And I'm like, I don't trust these people.
Well, this guy also donated to Obama and, of course, I repeat myself, Jeb Bush presidential campaigns.
Obama light,
Yeah.
basically. Yeah. No.
So Donald Trump appointed judge. This is what all these people are going after Trump, and these are his friends. This is a guy who defended Epstein and a guy who donated to both the Obama and Jeb Bush presidential campaigns.
Yeah.
Let's be clear about this. And people want to say, oh, we're talking about Epstein. What about Trump? As soon as Trump found out about Epstein being creepy, he kicked him out permanently.
Yeah.
From Mar-a-Lago.
Done.
Are you to be blamed if you've ever been friends with somebody or ever been acquaintances with somebody before you found out that they're a criminal or a sex offender, or even before he was prosecuted? Just kind of creepy.
Yeah.
General malfeasance. Trump said, "You're out of here."
Yeah, exactly. And by the way, if you are one of those people that believe, oh, this is totally above board, do you really think everything that's gone on with the Epstein trial was totally above board? I'm not even talking about his suicide on accident. What I'm talking about is that none of these people that he implicated or could have implicated have ever been put on a list and brought before a judge.
Right.
None of them. They flew on planes. We have records of them taking flights. We have photographs. We have lawsuits settled in the UK against royalty. None of the people in the United States that knew Epstein and hung out with him on a regular basis and were connected to the Clintons ever, including the Clintons, ever get brought before a judge. That's the same guy.
Including Bill, who we know there's public information that we know let go of his security detail while on the island.
Well,
it's
yes.
fine. I mean, it's okay.
No,
20 was it 26 or was it 27 flights?
I don't know, but he had a frequent flyer pass. He
Yeah, he had
took
a
the
frequent
line
flyer
to the
pass.
right,
He did.
the
Yeah.
executive platinum, where
Yeah.
they call your name and everybody else just has to stand aside.
You know,
He kept getting upgraded, which is actually a lower age.
Yes, it's true. No, it's a really weird system.
Yes.
It's what they call platinum status.
Yes.
Yeah, the fast pass.
And he was only kicked off the Lolita Express because he took a dump in the bathroom.
Well,
That's
yeah, you
poor
can't do that.
form.
Can't do that. Never on a plane.
I have a friend who did that with a very
Unbelievable.
famous man who had a jet, and the bathroom didn't work, and he used it, and he only found out afterwards, and he was no longer allowed on it.
Well, it's not his fault.
I'll tell you off air who
Okay.
it was.
Swalwell, he farts on mic.
Yes, he does.
I feel like he poops on planes.
That wouldn't surprise me at all. Nothing would surprise me about Swalwell. Hey, Swalwell, come on the show, buddy.
Yeah.
We should talk.
Come laugh. You laughed? Come laugh with us.
Come on the show, champ.
We have a laugh.
Come have some farts and giggles.
Yeah. Come on, show me my place there, chief. Put me in my place. I'm just a silly old comedian and host of a show on YouTube. You know what? I mean, come on, you're a United States representative. You should make quick work of me. All right.
Representative for China.
Yes.
Well,
Well, we're splitting hairs.
True.
You say tomato, I say ting tao fa.
True.
Now, plenty of Americans, of course, just so you know you're not alone, have already taken to the streets in Palm Beach to support President Trump. Here you go. Now, let me get into something that we have been told. Okay. And then let me show you a clip that shows that shows beyond any shadow of a doubt that it's at the very least opaque.
Yeah.
So this comes from the Washington Post. All references available at louderwithcarter.com. We've primarily tried to use leftist sources today so that we're not accused of providing information that you don't like. Reportedly, the Justice Department, they say that they've been investigating the potential mishandling of classified material.
Oh, no.
After, this is a quote, the National Archives and Records Administration said it had retrieved from Maralago 15 boxes of records containing classified information earlier this year. So a couple of things here. That's what they're saying. But these are the people who, remember, also said there was the pee tape, Donald Trump and prostitutes peeing, remember, on the laminated furniture?
Yeah.
Remember, there was the N-word Christmas reel from Apprentice, the B-roll that never made it out?
Yeah.
The Russian collusion documents. So now these people are saying there could be potential mishandling of classified. Now, let's be really clear, because you will see this all over Twitter, all over Instagram, all over YouTube, and probably on CNN from people who don't know their thumb from their dick. Saying he doesn't have right to classified material. Of course he does. Jimmy Carter released, he declassified information after his presidency. That happens all the time. They're not saying that a former president, if you want to use that term, doesn't have the right to classified material. They're saying that he mishandled classified material. So anyone who says an ex-president does not have the right to classified material doesn't know what they're talking about, and that's not even what they're alleging. They're hoping that they make it opaque enough that enough people out there, the little monkey foot soldiers, go out and say, he shouldn't have access to classified material. And by the way, I know everyone's doing the whataboutism with Hillary Clinton. Here's the thing. Donald Trump was president. Hillary Clinton wasn't. Her only qualification was that she was the only bitch not screwing the president. And it's not that she had classified material. It's that she deleted classified material.
Bleached, I believe.
Bleached.
But if you're looking for piss tapes and Russians, why don't you just look at Hunter's laptop?
That's a good point.
That'd be a good place
Or
to
just
start.
look at, if you want, the Chinese, you just go to Swalwell's.
That's true.
Ring footage.
Yes. His fart box.
Yes. It's also devil is a scream box. Just the sequence matters. Now, investigators, I'm still a child. I'm mad, but I'm still a child. They were allegedly aware of the documents in Trump's possession and just told him that they needed to be secured better. That might be all the mishandling that had taken place. Here's a clip.
Investigators went down to Maralago and actually met with Trump's attorneys. We are told it was back in early June, they believe, and they met with Trump's attorneys. I am told that they were shown a room that had boxes of documents that were there, that days after they left Mar-a-Lago, they sent a letter to Trump's attorneys asking them to further secure the room.
It tells you that they had concerns about how that information, that material, those boxes of documents were going to continue to be respected and used by the former president and his staff. And it may be, as Caitlin points out,
mentally,
that they weren't satisfied with the security of the room, that they weren't satisfied with the level of cooperation of the FBI was requesting. So they took the extraordinary step of going to a federal judge who had to authorize a search warrant, and you have the events that we've had over the last 24 hours.
If that is the justification, that we were unsatisfied with how he secured the documents, and you just threw out 250 plus years of precedent, or precedents, whichever one, we'll have Bill on to tell us which one that is insane. And by the way, they actually broke into his safe. They opened up his safe. Is that not a secure area?
I was frankly surprised that President Trump was as responsible as he was with the storage. I'm surprised he wasn't using them as coasters for his Diet Coke cans by the hot tub. I'm not even lying.
It's unbelievable.
He's such a wheeling and dealing guy. I didn't think he would be that prudent.
I thought he would have gone to Crate and Barrel.
Yes.
So
the container store, perhaps. Yes. Which I don't know what that store is. Like, do you only sell containers? Your whole store is the U store.
I've never walked in. I think it's just cheap coffins.
Yeah.
Cough drop. Sound like the teenager on the system. You're like, I've never walked in. The fat guy wants to see the movie. What's that talking about?
Our researchers just sent a pretty surprising tweet from Andrew Cuomo.
Okay.
DOJ.
Wait, hold on a second. This is the Cuomo who covered up the nursing home deaths, right? This is the Cuomo who actually enacted policies that led to thousands of deaths, and his place wasn't rated because it would have. Who needs that many nipple barbells and evidence?
Sexual misconduct as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good point, Dave. Yeah,
Admitted.
I forgot about that. Admitted. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So he said DOJ must immediately explain the reason for its raid, and it must be more than a search for inconsequential archives, or it will be viewed as a political tactic and undermine any future credible investigation and legitimacy of January 6 investigations.
Oh, good for him. Except for the last part.
Yeah, exactly.
Hashtag please don't investigate me.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Guys, there's too much. We don't want to be just. We don't want to be bickering about who investigates who.
If I was him, I would not have opened my mouth.
No.
If they're not investigating you, just don't say a word. Be like, oh, thank God they're investigating Trump. Otherwise, I would be on the dock.
I mean, I appreciate he's trying to act as though he's being consistent, but you know what? I think that when you actually enact policies that lead to the deaths and lie about it, maybe you should be investigated. I'm not saying they should raid your house, but maybe force you to answer questions.
God forbid.
Him and Governor Whitmer. So
I wonder how his document storage is.
Of course, they would need probable cause to issue a warrant, and Senate Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy said that he's seen enough. The Department of Justice has reached an intolerable state of weaponized politicians. Attorney General Garland, preserve your documents and clear your calendar.
I love that.
Okay. We're going to have some more information here, some more research as it comes in, and I know Gerald has some interesting points. This is, a lot of you may be feeling in your gut and not necessarily fully aware of how to articulate the fear that you have. We all know that the intelligence agencies are being used as political arms of this administration. But we need to be able to put a finer point on it. You need to be able to argue it with other people. So let me break this down for you. We told you about all the claims that the intelligence agencies made as it related to pissing tapes, as it related to Russian collusion, right? Anywhere else, you'd be fired.
Sure.
Anywhere else.
Let me add to that what we know the FBI is not doing. Okay. Dr. Larry, they're not investigating Dr. Larry Nassar. Remember? The FBI provided completely inaccurate, incomplete information. This is the guy who systematically sexually abused the female gymnastics team.
In fairness, it was only
years.
hundreds of allegations.
It's only hundreds. It was Bill Cosby times 4.
Right, that's all.
That's Collage B over there, token on. We know that they weren't investigating him. Ineptitude or selective prosecution? All right. Hunter Biden. We know the FBI has not been investigating Hunter Biden. Tax violations, of course, the illegal firearm purchase, throwing it in a trash bin outside of a school.
Yes.
Solicitation, drugs, corruption, not to mention his direct implication of his father in said illegal activities. I don't know how much of a crime it is to be banging your niece if she's of age. At the very least, it's gross.
Very gross.
So, not Larry
Contact Jerry
Nassar.
Lewis.
Not Larry Nassar, not Hunter Biden. Hey, what about questioning Ashley Biden? Because again, people will say, Hunter Biden's not president. Well, hold on a second. He is the son of a sitting president. That's an incredible liability. And he implicated the sitting former vice president. Not only did we have corroboration from Ashley Biden, the diary, where she talked about being molested. She talked about, at the very least, inappropriate showers with her father. I don't think, and by that I mean, I know they didn't bring her in for questioning. I'm not saying they should have raided Ashley Biden's home, but by this standard, they should have absolutely raided Hunter Biden. Should have absolutely been raiding Larry Nassar immediately, far sooner than you knew about it. But they should at least have brought Ashley Biden in for questioning. No, instead, they raided James O'Keefe instead for having the diary.
Priorities.
Our good old favorite, Eric Swalwell. We know the FBI is not raiding Eric Swalwell, who was having sex with Chinese spies. And I understand it. He's desperate.
Well, I mean, come on.
Didn't he date a Russian right after too?
Yeah, he has a pattern.
She's a spy, but maybe.
I don't think so much. He doesn't have a fetish for spies so much as he'll exclusively fornicate with communists.
Yes, well, that's true.
Ah.
Yeah. He had a role play as Ivan Drago.
And spies.
Yes. Eric Swalwell, no raid? Nothing. What about Paul Pelosi? What about Paul Pelosi? What about the Pelosi's in general? What about the insider trading? What about the wealth exponentially increasing through deals?
Coincidence.
Well,
Yes, coincidence. Sorry, I have to be careful with the YouTube.
Yeah. He raids his belly with liquor, then gets behind the wheel.
Yes, he does. Yes. Just like, what's his name? Harry Reid's brother, Larry Reid. For those of you who don't remember, Harry Reid and Larry Reid got into a bar fight together, and then he claimed that he got hurt in the bathroom. Harry and Larry brothers had a drunken brawl.
He beat his ass.
It's the funniest story I've ever heard in my life, and you probably don't know about it.
Their other brother, Mo, was in the car.
Right, yeah. Cousin Shemp only came in later, and people mostly forgot about that. We know the FBI wasn't investigating Epstein's clients from his little black book.
Ah, interesting.
Not a single person has been brought in. as of this broadcast.
Yeah, they weren't making sure that the video feed in the cell worked, or that the guards knew not to leave him with the ability to hang himself.
Right.
Well, and Ghislaine is horribly punished at a prison where they allow yoga.
Yes.
Yes, with goats, I hear.
Yeah.
Goat yoga.
Really rough.
Goat yoga?
More of a
They
farm.
stand on your back. It's really liberating.
Is that an actual thing? I thought you meant like greatest of all time yoga?
is.
Or you
No.
mean actual
No.
goat yoga?
No, like she's in a very
Yoga with goats,
comfortable jail where
Only vegan food.
you might have secrets on people.
Yeah. Well, I hope they let her wear her outfit from that prison with juicy written across the back and then put her in a maximum security penitentiary with transgender inmates who, by the way, according to YouTube, so I just want to be clear, have never sexually accosted any female inmates ever.
Totally safe.
Ever. I'm now pro-male to female trans in Ghislaine Maxwell's prison. Bang, bang, Maxwell cellmate came right down.
The taller, stronger, and angrier, the better.
Yes. I want the white gorilla from Congo.
You want Ron Perlman?
I want Ron Perlman to be her cellmate in a wig with a laser gun. We know the FBI is not investigating Governor Cuomo. We know that by his tweet. He's like, please don't. For killing old people and lying about it. We know they haven't investigated or raided Governor Whitmer. Did the same thing. By the way, Whitmer death toll is still a thing. You can go check it out.
Yeah.
She still hasn't answered to those FISA requests.
No. I found an interesting article, too, on what they're not doing related to Hunter Biden.
Yeah.
You want me to read it?
Anything? Does the article just read anything and article?
It doesn't end article, right? So we've got a couple of overlays here. This is a letter from Senator Chuck Grassley. It'll take me just a second. He's talking
Hold on,
about
pause
chip
one. Can you pause 1 second?
Yeah.
Because Joseph Biden, Joseph R.
Vice
Biden.
President.
Is his middle name R? I don't think of Joseph R.
Robin
Banks.
it.
I know. That's right. But I just, Joseph R. Biden. You're going to hate the way you look. Is now today, not talking about this.
No.
His approach is the Hogan's Heroes. I know nothing. He's talking about a bill to increase chip manufacturing. Not a moment too soon with those missiles being fired toward Taiwan. Let's see what he's saying on one of the darkest days in American history as it relates to your personal freedom.
He looks like Iron Deficiency Man.
Yes.
Spent years and years calling for key
Instead of a nuclear, it's just a pacemaker.
Calling for it. You help make it happen. You represent why we are better positioned than any other nation in the world to
Better
win
position?
the economic competition.
Did he just say Pez? Is he requesting a Pez dispenser?
Here's the
Someone get
reason
that man a
why.
Pez dispenser!
I believe he wants to invest in a business of Pez. A Pezness.
By the way, Jack Nicholson used to wear sunglasses all the time because he was on drugs. He's
Right.
wearing them because his eyes are no longer there.
And Dimension drugs. It's just holes.
Just a bowling ball with teeth. All right, so just so you see right now, and CNN is covering this. This is hey, we're going to increase chipsets here in the United States. That's good, right? People are going, what about the prosecutorial misconduct? What about our rights? The IRS raiding a former president. Shouldn't we be talking about that?
I want to make sure we go back to this live on some channel when they start asking questions. You know the questions are not going to have anything to do with chips.
Yeah.
And he's not going to take a single one of them. He may trip and fall trying to run away.
Yeah.
We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
But so a couple of things. I just thought this
He
was
just
very-
said, bet you can't eat just one. He doesn't know where he is. Go with your...
No, he said, but wait, if you act now.
Sorry, just off of his your no eyes.
Yeah.
Just the idea of him take off his aviators and it's just like ghosts screaming like the door knocker in a Jiminy Cricket's Christmas.
He just takes them on and
just
paint it on other aviators.
Yeah, just a series of nesting doll aviators. Just get smaller.
Just endless Lloyd Bridges.
All right, go ahead and read your article
Sorry,
because then I
I'm
want to get to
sorry,
what the FBI
Gerald,
is doing.
This is much more serious.
So you're going to get to what the FBI is investigating. This is what the FBI is doing to not investigate the Hunter Biden story and to make sure none of us do. So I'll read it. Take just a second. First, it's been alleged. This is Grassley saying this. First, it's been alleged the FBI developed information in 2020 about Hunter Biden criminal, financial, and related activity. It's further alleged in August 2020, FBI supervisory intelligence analyst, blah, 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 used FBI headquarters team to improperly discredit negative Hunter Biden information as disinformation and caused the investigative activity to cease.
Basically,
So
the FBI said, this is misinformation when they knew it wasn't.
Right. It was falsely labeled. And what he said is it's verified information and easily verifiable information that was discredited as false. The next one is even worse for me. They came and actually gave them a briefing. During their investigation, the FBI came, and it was unsolicited briefing, and it was an
So we know it wasn't
irrelevant
Swalwell.
briefing. Right, exactly. Irrelevant briefing. And all of the information from that briefing was later leaked to discredit the investigation.
Right.
And then Pelosi, Schumer, There a couple of other people signed on to this. Nancy Pelosi, Mark Warner, and then Adam Schiff came out and said and used that information to discredit the investigation and say that the Congress is actually being used by Russia for disinformation against Hunter Biden.
Yeah, and then
That's
they
what
raided
they did.
Giuliani, by the way, claiming that he stole the laptop. Once they realized it was real. So it went from it's not real, it's fake, it's Russian disinformation to the laptop was stolen to the Geek Squad guy, the guy from the computer repair shop, is a Russian plant to. In other words, they constantly change the story so long as it allows them their grasp on power. It's not about prosecuting Donald Trump. It's about being able to prosecute you. That's why they want to increase the IRS. It's not about letting Hunter Biden off the hook. It's about letting Joe Biden off the hook. It's about letting Hillary Clinton off the hook. I've said this repeatedly. It's not, are we a country of laws? Are the laws applied equally? If they aren't, then then the laws are valueless.
Right. And the team that Grassley has a problem with here, this was the same office that issued the raid, that carried out the raid.
Right, carried out the raid.
In Florida.
Okay. So, all right, so the FBI not going after Larry Nassar. Okay, just to recap. Not going after Hunter Biden. Didn't raid them. Not even questioning Ashley Biden. Eric Swalwell banging Chinese spies. Paul Pelosi, insider trading. Epstein Black Book clients. Okay, Governor Whitmer. Governor Cuomo. Why? Because the FBI has been pretty busy with some other things. We can go back pretty far. Let's go back to 2003. Their questionable involvement in the Herald Square bombing plot. Now, the reason that I'm setting that up for you is because it brings us to newer incidents where most of those involved with these domestic terror plots or kidnapping plots or assassination plots were in fact FBI agents. That's overlay B1. 2010, Barack Obama's IRS, of course, targeted conservative groups affiliated with the Tea Party movement, right? Boehner signed off on that. I'm done with that guy. Then in 2016, Obama's FBI conducted surveillance, FISA surveillance on the Trump campaign. We know that. There's no doubt about it. Remember? You were told that you were being paranoid. It was all a lie. That was circulated by who? The FBI and DOJ, who were doing it. Then also in 2016, the propagation of the fake Steele dossier and the Trump-Russia hoax. The reason for which he was, one of them, impeached. Then you have 2020, undercover FBI agents who tricked Michigan men into a conspiracy to kidnap Governor Whitmer. Then, of course, you have April 2021, they raided Giuliani's apartment, seized cell phones and computers. Why? And by the way, they left the laptop.
Yeah.
They left the laptop.
He's standing there holding it with a sign that says Hunter's laptop, and they go around him like World War Z.
He showed it to us on air for the first time it was ever seen in public. I remember being shocked, and the FBI said, no, we don't want it. We want to find out. We think it's more dangerous for the American people that you believe there's foul play in the election.
Right, yeah.
Than for the sitting former vice president's son to say 10% goes up to the big guy. And by the way, something else that you may not know, we have had our issues with the FBI. Utah, 2016, somewhere between 2016 and 2017. Antifa, they were handing my producers ice picks, K-bars, tasers. You can see it all on video. For a Ben Shapiro rally, I called Ben Shapiro. I saved his life. He owes me one. And I had the footage of them saying we're going to get sawed-off shotguns in our trunk for these people here for the Ben Shapiro speaking event. I tried to show it to the authorities. They had no interest there, the local authorities. There was a reporter for 60 Minutes who had no interest in it. Then we were on the phone with the FBI. Said, how did you get this information? We got on their encrypted app. We infiltrated Antifa. This is before anyone else was even really trying to do it. We fell into this. We just did our best. We said, I'm surprised. Shouldn't we be asking you this question? FBI? Nothing happened. No one did anything. By the way, some of those people who were on camera were arrested that night with the weapons that we filmed on camera for assaulting conservatives at the Ben Shapiro speaking event. That night. Just so you know, the FBI did nothing. There was a man named Jason Chambers. We've talked about this. Spoke with us for a long time after that, asking us questions, kind of probing. There are some things that he brought up that we thought might be kind of weird. Disappeared off the face of the earth. Never heard from him again. He was involved with the plot to kidnap Governor Whitmer. Remember when he was asking us when we were going down to Michigan to host that rally and local Michigan news wrote about how, extremist groups showed up there. First, they tried to say, just like with the Hunter Biden laptop, they tried to say only about 200-300 people showed up to the Michigan State Capitol. It was many, many thousands of people. Then they said, it looks like there are extremist groups there. Then we had some probing questions about what we were doing from people there at the FBI. It was like, well, we just actually want to get the information on the actual death toll of nursing homes in Michigan because we know that they're inaccurate. And so we're encouraging everyone to actually go to the website and issue these FISA requests. Or FOIA requests.
FOIA.
Didn't hear from them again. They were more interested in faking conspiracies to kidnap the governor. I bet you if we didn't cross our T's and dot our I's, we could have been hauled out in cuffs for doing things that you have seen on air. None of it's a secret. By the way, Rudy Giuliani, who I believe is going to be in the show later.
Yeah. 10:15.
Still not been charged with a crime. Just to be clear. Let's continue with what the FBI is doing. We know what they're not doing. October 2021, Garland directed authorities to target angry parents at school board meetings. Remember that?
Domestic terrorists.
Domestic terrorists because you don't want your daughter in a bathroom with teenage chicks with dicks. There's a legitimate purview of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. It's designed to excuse criminals, to let them off the hook, and make criminals of you. Ooh, wait a second. Do you have a concealed carry permit? We're going to expand our ability to investigate you.
Yeah.
Mental health checks.
Well, and it's really upsetting that a father is pissed off that his daughter was sexually accosted in Loudoun County in a bathroom by a boy wearing a skirt.
Yeah.
And that guy needs to be taken, take a look at him.
You know what's not upsetting? A man sexually accosting his niece. Hunter Biden.
Well, the diary is upsetting.
Yeah, the diary is upsetting.
That's upsetting. Bridge too far.
Of course, James O'Keefe, his apartment was raided. Notice no one talks about the inauthenticity of the Ashley Biden diary. He wasn't ever charged with a crime. Hey, liberals, you think they're not going to come for you? And by the way, I don't think that we should be above the fray. If Republican gets in, investigate everybody. Raid everybody. Use all of it. I don't care if we become Nicaragua at this point. You've already rung the bell. You can't unring it, Buttercup. Here's something else that we know they were doing in November 2021. The whistleblower revealed that there was a whistleblower who revealed the Bureau was investigating parents as domestic terrorists. January 2022, former FBI Director Andrew McCabe compared mainstream conservatives to terrorists and called for them to be surveyed. Of course, let's not forget the now, I guess, defunct Misinformation Board by Nina Jankowicz, because that one was just, they said, well, you know what, this one isn't a good look. And now, of course, this brings us just to yesterday, which you pointed out, Dave, the Dems' new spending bill. Democrats that allows the IRS to target the middle class. It says in their bill, more litigation, more prosecution, more auditing. Does this, I mean, when you at a certain point, you have to look at all of it, add it up and say, wait a second, this is all about not only power, but selective enforcement, selective use of that power, and selective enforcement of the law. All references available at louderwithcrowder.com. It's not even up for debate.
This again. Jeez.
Hey, landlord, do you know the worst part of being on this balcony?
What's that, Krodorf?
All the guns in this studio are out of reach.
It felt like a threat.
That felt like a threat.
Today of all days, guys.
It's no longer funny.
Really?
Really?
That wasn't even a joke.
They keep telling me to die.
Yeah. How long are the season tickets?
I think it's forever.
Yeah, they signed a lifetime deal.
They bought the balcony, essentially.
I should have read the fine print.
I know. I didn't even read.
They built the balcony. It was supposed to be an executive box. So Governor DeSantis did sum this up pretty well. He tweeted out, the raid of Maralago is another escalation in the weaponization of federal agencies against the regime's political opponents. While people like Hunter Biden get treated with kid gloves, now the regime is getting another 87,000 IRS agents to wield against adversaries. Banana Republic. Great. It's one thing to bitch. It's one thing to bitch. Defund the bastards. And bitches. I assume they have women working there.
Yeah.
Stretchy maternity suits.
Absolutely. You have to. I mean, you even said this. If you let it stay, you have to tear it down to the studs.
It's cancer.
Like it, absolutely. Like this place, the American people can no longer trust that the FBI is going to do their job. And I'm sorry, FBI agents out there who are doing your job. I know several of them that are fantastic people. This is coming from the guys in Washington.
Yeah.
This is coming, and they're filtering down to some of these local field offices. I don't know what to do other than to tear it down and rebuild. And I'm sure they want the same thing, because this is not the FBI that they joined. This is not the FBI that they wanted.
Yeah,
maybe
rip it down like J. Edgar Hoover would another man's pants.
Yes, exactly. And by the way, just think about this.
I don't know that he did that. I think he just liked to wear a dress.
Just to throw it out there.
Every once in a while, he wanted to feel the airflow. It's a little more comfortable. I understand.
I don't know. He had a friend with him all the time.
Yeah. Well, that's different then. Think
No,
about this.
it's not.
Who is the
I'm
front runner
clenching his
right
pearls.
now for the Republican Party? Arguably, who's the front runner? Donald Trump. We have Joseph R. Biden, who's saying he's going to run for re-election. So essentially, what just happened is the sitting president.
He's going to fake jog
for
re-election.
Fake jog, yes.
Like someone who's
a basement
running
again.
down a main cross street and doesn't want you to see that they've quit, so they kind of do the half walk.
Little half
That's what
jog.
he's gonna do.
So basically, the sitting former vice president who has declared his intention to run again, his FBI, Department of Justice, have now raided and investigated his primary opponent for the upcoming election. Am I understanding this correctly?
Yes. By the way,
that's a story
in case
you
you're
read.
looking to understand it better, CNN's got the scoop for you.
Yeah.
They're still covering that Biden signed a bipartisan Chips and Science
20
Act.
minutes.
It's an enormous
on
amount of
chips.
pork in that bill, too.
Oh, is
like
there?
Master's climate change and this.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, good. We need more.
I feel like after 9/11, they're talking about a fundraiser for a junior senator.
It's, after 9/11, they're talking about a new kind of Reese's Buttercup.
Yes. It's dark chocolate.
Yes.
It's better for you.
Ooh, there's a white chocolate
More
one,
flavonoids.
too. What's all that smoke? Don't worry about it.
It's halal, too.
Oh, really?
Bad timing.
No, not bad
butter.
timing.
Not
Perfect
me.
timing for CNN. No, here's the thing, and we're going to have former Mayor Giuliani on. And we'll go to Mug Club, lettercredit.com/Mug Club, and talk more about what it is that you can do. Please share the show if you can. It helps. And right now, they are going to label everything misinformation that they possibly can. Yeah, there needs to be a purity test now. There needs to be a purity test for Republicans, for so-called conservatives. I will not vote for anyone who does not demand the defunding of these intelligence agencies, period. Don't care who it is. Won't vote for them. It's a gimme. It's a gimme right now. But beyond that, what can you do? Okay, a couple of things. These people aren't your friend. People bitch about division? Nope, I'm ready. I want a thick dividing line. I really do. It's time to start calling offsides. If you're an at-will state and you're an employer, I would fire everybody. Fire everybody who celebrates this. I would fire them. Just like Maxine Waters said, harass them wherever they go in diners. And, well, you know what? Don't serve them. Don't do business with them. People who want to destroy this republic, if we can keep it, and your rights, are no longer your friend. No more barbecues with them. No more cocktail parties. No more cocktails. No more Tiff's treats. No treats. Now, there's a difference between people who are, let's say, Democrat voters for a long time and saying, this is beyond the pale. Yeah. But people who celebrate this, I'm not telling you what to do. I would advise you to cut them from your life like a cancer, because they would celebrate the same if it happened to you. Don't serve them. Don't employ them. Don't be nice with them. Don't work with them, and fight every single inch. Every single time they say something where your antenna goes up, if they happen to be in your periphery, go, nah, that's bullshit. Call them on it. It's time to fight for every single square inch. Name me an institution that exists in government, and by proxy, of course, the entertainment industry, media, that has not been overtaken by the left. Public education, intelligence agencies, military, the health industry, pharmaceutical companies. You can go to airlines, you can go to media, you can go to Hollywood. You guys can get someone who's there in the map. Blaine, you can get out of the map. I know Giuliani's. He's popping in there some stuff about Rudy Giuliani.
By the way, it's
I know
10:15. 10:15 is when he'll.
Yeah, it's 10:15 when he comes on. This is what you can do in your own personal life. I know not everyone will agree with this. You can comment below if you agree with it. I have no interest in being friends with these people. None. None whatsoever. I think it's time to start fighting fire with fire. These are people who are raiding your homes, who are going to audit your friends and family, who are harassing your representatives, or intimidating people like Larry Elder running for office into silence. You can't be, gee gosh, Roy Rogers this thing, and be nice with them. We're past that. You guys want to bitch about the division? All right. Start clearing your own ranks. I don't want to see ha 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 ha. The thing about ha 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 from Eric Swalwell is that's a man who fears no retribution whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's like a woman who talks a bunch of trash to some strange man she doesn't know because she knows that he won't hit her for the exact same reason he would hit a man. It's the exact same thing. It's Eric Schwebel going, I was banging Chinese spies and they didn't raid my home. That's the problem I have with it. Not an end zone dance. I have a problem that half of this country doesn't fear retribution. We need to make them fear it. And we need to make the people who claim to be championing our cause, claim to be carrying our mantle, Republicans, conservatives, they need to fear you. Not saying violence. I'm saying they need to fear you going on a campaign to remove any and all of the power they so desperately desire or cling to. That's it. That's it. These are career politicians. You know, you see what happens. You see what happens with congressmen. You see what happens with senators. Right? You see what happens with, you saw it with Fauci, one of the highest paid officials in government, a man who has not worked in the private sector for, what do you think happens at the FBI? What do you think happens at the DOJ, at the CIA? These are people who've worked their entire lives and are looking for a pension. Most of these people are totally fine carrying out these marching orders so long as they remain unaffected, even if they agree with you. If you work in these agencies, now I got the Dave thing. Be a whistleblower.
Yeah.
Everyone needs to fight every single inch, period. Don't look for a perfect shot. Pressure, 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 pressure in your everyday life. Resign yourself to every day for the rest of your life being uncomfortable. Being uncomfortable because it's going to be conflict. That's okay. That's okay because peace is a two-way street. And they don't want it. What do you mean they? Are you othering? Yep, they. Enemy, left. Democrats, IRS, FBI, DOJ. This administration. Eric Swalwell. Enemies, not worthy adversaries, not differing points of view. Enemies. Are you starting to get the picture? Let's say something, Dave.
No.
Oh, sorry. Okay. I think that I've gotten it out of my
you said
system.
I got the Dave thing, and I said, what?
Oh. Sorry.
I just tried to lighten the mood slightly.
Yeah.
Oh, what are they talking right now?
They're talking about it real quick.
They're finally talking about it on CNN. Good. And they have their most senior 16-year-old anchor on the job.
That's great.
One of the fundraising texts that came out overnight that was sent out by the Republican National Committee, it says, it calls this unprecedented.
It is.
It is.
It says that it was Biden's FBI raid.
It is. It is.
References the midterm, saying it's time to take back Congress.
For sure
so
it is.
this is a familiar move that we've seen from Republicans. In moments where former President Trump has come under fire, especially found himself in legal jeopardy. But fundraising off of this itself is fairly unprecedented.
What? Holy shit!
Beat news.
It's like, let's say someone raped and killed your whole family. It's an extreme example to paint a picture here.
Yeah.
Let's say someone raped and killed your whole family and hung them up upside down from meat hooks like Jose and Kuzey Hussein, okay? And the media should be saying, holy crap, this is unprecedented.
Yeah.
But you respond and say, I'm gonna beat this guy's ass. They go, that kind of a response is unprecedented.
Wow.
Whoa.
That you put out a reward for these guys. That's an unprecedented step.
Wow, vigilanteism much?
Oh, jeez.
The fact that he is raising camp is unprecedented? Really? That's the story?
That's what you picked?
And it's a great opportunity to start raising money.
Yeah. Yeah, because they probably, took some of his cash as well from Maralago, and Uncle Sam's none the wiser.
You know why it's unprecedented? It hasn't happened in history.
Right.
And by the way, there was another person who maybe deserved it, or at least some of his cohorts. The guy who, Nixon. Yeah, the guy who resigned on August 8th. That's weird. The raid was conducted on August 8th. And it was the anniversary of Nixon. I don't think there's any connection there.
That means JFK still alive, folks.
Probably does, and that Ted Cruz's father didn't kill him.
Well, Nixon also said that the same people that got JFK got him. It was just that a bullet would have been too obvious.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I mean, I don't know where we go from here.
Yeah.
I know what you need to do. I don't know where we go from here as a republic. Unless there's as much conflict as humanly possible, meaning between you and your representatives, and there does need to be a purity test. I do not mean, right now, I'm not calling you to arms and a physical civil war, to be clear. And by the way, if someone is doing that, glowworm. That's why you don't respond. You don't make your final executive decisions right now, but you start taking steps.
Yeah.
But I want everyone to see you mad. I don't think that enough hosts out there. I don't think that enough people. There are a few, but a lot of them say, "Well, this is wrong," and they talk about it with this distant, calculated, cold demeanor. That's not me. That's not us here. Whether it's Kyle Rittenhouse, whether it's this, sorry, I can't do it. I only know one way. If you see me off air, people are often surprised, like, I feel like I'm on the show. Pretty much, sometimes I'm a little quieter because I'm tired if it's right after the show. These are the ABCs of me, and I think you should let your freak flag fly.
Yeah. Well, when Donald Trump said on January 6th that if you don't fight like hell, you won't have a country. You better fight like hell. He wasn't calling people to arms then either, even though they've tried to make.
He said, "Make your voices heard peacefully."
Make your voices heard peacefully
and by the way,
patriotically.
that's the catalyst for all of this, right?
Yeah,
As they say, "Oh, January 6th investigation." Wait, do you mean you're talking about a plot to overthrow the government from the same speech where he said, "Make your voices heard patriotically and peacefully"?
I know you guys are going up to Congress to make your voices heard, not your fists, not your feet, not weapons, just your voices heard. But he was absolutely right. Think about this. He was telling you, if you don't fight for your country, if you don't fight to make sure that you have the right representatives, you don't fight to make sure that you hold those representatives accountable when they start making changes, if you don't do the things like Ron DeSantis did when he fired one of the prosecutors the other day because he refused to enforce the law, if you don't do things like that, you won't have a country. And so what are you sitting around waiting for?
Yeah.
You won't have the country that you say that you love and that gives you the freedoms that you enjoy right now. They'll just be gone. And the Democrats don't care. They want everything that you believe in to be gone.
Yeah.
Well, that's exactly what they want.
What I find crazy is, I don't think I said on this show, we were discussing it before the show, but I was at Hudson News on Sunday. And then,
it's funny, I was watching Hudson Hawk on Sunday.
Really?
Awful film.
That was fantastic.
I watch it every other Tuesday.
Yeah. They don't have watches, but hey, they sing songs.
I know, it's crazy. But I was at Hudson News, and the cover of Newsweek was, "Will Trump do time?" And it was a picture of him in prison.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, wow, I wonder what's going to happen with Trump. And then the next day, it was raided. And it just shows how the media creates the narrative, or they have information prior to anything happening. And it's very scary that immediately that's what happened. The next day, I could just see that and go, that's weird. I wonder what's going to happen. And within not even 24 hours, that's what happened.
It's a surreal experience. For example, when there were a few of them, but I remember, because I was watching it live, Senator Hirono demanding and complaining that I was not removed from YouTube for hate speech, which already the CEO of YouTube said there was no violation of the rules. And I'm sitting there going, wait a second, this is a sitting senator, not even from my district, demanding that I be removed. And I will tell you, I'm always surprised that other hosts aren't experiencing the same thing. If you're close to the target, you're going to have someone in the FBI try and sting you. Sorry, we're just a bunch of basic bitch Christian conservatives. FBI. Didn't have anything. Wish you did. Sorry, Senator Hirono, it's not a violation. You watch it and you go, what world am I in? You never expect this. You never expect this to happen. And so I'm acutely aware of it. My biggest line item is legal fees outside of employees. It's payroll and then legal fees. Those are the most expensive line items here in this company because of the constant ongoing battle. It's nonstop. I mean, it's nonstop. So I understand. And we're fortunate enough. And just to be clear, this show, before we bring on Giuliani, it's not funded by billionaires who made money off of energy. It's not funded by a 501c3, by nonprofits. No one owns it but me. No one signs the front of these checks at this company but me, 100% of it. And that is entirely funded by you. And I don't mean like PBS says it, where they say viewers like you, but what they really mean is it's actually receiving countless untold federal grants. So if you want to go to loudwithcrowder.com/mug club, you can support it. We're going to do another, sorry, I got to bring up my iPad here. Today is a little bit screwy. Bear with me. We're going to be talking about stuff that we probably can't talk on YouTube. And I don't know. That's the thing, too. It's a constant game of, it's someone stepping back and laying down landmines, only there's no more land. It's just mines.
No. Hey, Hillary Clinton found an opportunity to capitalize off this, if you want to see that.
Oh, really? Oh, by not having sex with her husband?
Well,
well, that and...
Every But Her Emails Had Her Shirt Sold helps Onward Together partners defend democracy, build a progressive bench, and fight for our values. Just saying.
By the way, that is the most retouched picture of Hillary Clinton from the last decade.
Oh, yeah. What is her head?
She created an actual jawline.
Yeah.
It says
Can you
but her
do me a favor
emails.
and, Photoshop this hat on me from 95.
Yeah. It's just she just merged it with Kate Upton and thought we'd be none the wiser.
That is unbelievable. I mean, there's so much more to come out on this. I know that
Your husband raped somebody.
Yeah.
She's like, I know.
Yeah.
She was trailer trash.
I was on the island as well. And by the way, so you said this,
I
a
let
lot of
him.
people are saying are butthurt emails, right? And Pompeo came out and said this. He goes, we knew that you had classified information. We knew it. We proved it, and we didn't raid you. And you said, this is the president. Yeah, the bar is lower for Hillary. She would have had.
She
the
wasn't
FBI
even
would have
president.
No, that's what I'm
She
saying.
wasn't even sleeping with the president.
The bar's lower. They would have had all the right in the world to go after her.
I bet
And
her
didn't
ankle
even do
masseuse is the strongest person alive.
Yeah, it's a Swedish man named Sven.
Yeah, it just takes hours.
He goes. He just has 2 private clients, John Travolta and her ankle.
Yeah, it's true.
They're insured like J-Lo's assets, just Hillary Clinton's ankles.
Lloyd's of London. Right?
Takes a lot of structural integrity to keep this seizure ship up.
Yes. Well, he prefers Travolta. He finishes a lot quicker.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, gee.
Well, anyone would.
Well, yes.
Seen those dance moves?
Instead of massaging Maxwell House coffee cans
Hey,
for hours on end.
It's hard to find those, the tin cans, because I use them for ashtrays.
Really?
Yeah, they're the best ashtray because you put coffee grounds in and you close the lid.
Yeah.
You can't find the aluminum cans anymore.
I used to put the cigarette
They're
butts
plastic
in them.
now.
Yeah, Hunter with the crack pipe.
Yeah.
You think Hillary Clinton's a lesbian? I say yes.
By
Truthfully,
choice or by
yeah.
force?
Yeah, truthfully, yes. No, I'm not joking. I think
Yeah.
she's a lesbian. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Really?
so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's why she lets
Okay.
her husband. She's like, look, go do whatever. I
Yeah.
don't mind.
It was always an arrangement.
He's like, but I'm doing a 16-year-old on Epstein Island. Have fun.
She's like, whatever.
You know.
I get it.
Make sure there's no cameras.
Yeah. And he comes
Don't
back.
sign
He's like,
the flat
I screwed up. There were cameras? No, there was actually someone stenciling me in a dress. You didn't have to sit for the portrait.
It was
I know.
3 hours.
It was a thing. I thought it was a style thing. People were sitting in dresses for portraits.
I
There's
signed
one
the
thing
flat
she'll
log.
never have. Boots that go up to her knees. They don't make them.
No.
They do not make them.
Impossible.
One thing she'll never wear, flood pants.
That's right.
They just become knickers.
Yeah.
With a K.
Yes, not.
The K, to be clear. God, this is where we are right now. Let me know, do we have Giuliani? Is he here? Is he ready to go?
Not yet.
Not yet.
All right. Well,
He's
I don't
dialing
necessarily
us
know
up.
if he's known for punctuality.
Cricket Wireless takes a minute.
Let's take well, I was going to say, today we usually do this behind the paywall. Can we take a couple of chats really quickly? Is there anything else that I'm missing here? Is there anything new and developing? I hope that I've covered all the bases for you. Again, all references are available at ladderofcredit.com. We usually have the link in the description. Because I think this is an important day where you should be. I would recommend that you read all of these sources that we have today.
Yeah.
I think it's really important.
Well, that's what it said. There's not a lot that they're going after. I'm sorry, Joe.
No, I just have a quick question. So I think everybody right now is demanding a response from the FBI.
Yeah.
Do you think Merrick Garland comes out today and tries to quell this a little bit? Because the heat from this already today is crazy.
They feel that they're above the law.
Yeah. So your answer is no.
I don't know. Maybe he will, but he's not going to answer it.
Yeah.
And who's the only person that's above the law?
Mr. Seagal.
That's right. Thank you.
I hope he comes out and just gets pied in the face. That would be a great pressure relief right now, wouldn't it?
Oh, I love it.
Wouldn't that improve your day just a little bit?
A little. It would improve my day 100%.
Especially if he got pied and before they tackled him, he had enough time to twist it.
Just
for sure.
Make it stick.
Like a bozo show gag.
Well, that happened to our prime minister in Canada 9 times.
Really?
Yeah, our prime minister doesn't get assassinated; he gets pied.
Oh,
it's worse.
We also had a guy
Why
try
did
and
they do it
assassinate.
with shoe polish with Trudeau?
He was trying to hide.
That's what happened.
What, with the prime minister?
Yeah, it happened not with Trudeau, but with other prime ministers. And there was actually an assassination attempt. I can't remember if it was Stephen Harper, if it was Chrétien, where the guy got into the prime minister's house, mansion.
Okay. Yeah.
Didn't even bring a weapon. So he grabbed cutlery from their own kitchen. I was like, I guess I should have thought this through.
Yeah.
Got up to the bedroom.
Or at all.
The wife saw him and closed the door.
The end.
That's how he was thwarted.
Like it was a beagle.
She's like, lock. And she's calling. She's like, hey,
hello.
Ring, ring. Security. This guy's here. Yeah, he's using my knives.
No, he doesn't have a pie.
Yeah.
It's much worse.
What kind of knives are they? Oh, they're not like Ginsu or anything. They're just butter knives.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know.
I think he got them from our plastics Tim Hortons leftover drawer.
Yeah. And if he tries really hard, he might scratch the door.
Yes.
But can you come up anyway?
Yeah.
Maybe do your jobs.
That actually happened in Canada. It's a silly, silly place. So when people talk about, America, you're saying we have socialized healthcare, it's because you're a silly country that's inconsequential and doesn't matter.
And they do surgery with Tim Hortons knives.
Yes, they do.
That's a fact.
They don't let a good knife go to waste, Dave.
No.
Well, they sterilize them.
They clean them. They use them twice.
Oh, wait a second. Right now, they are talking on CNN before we go to Giuliani. And if we don't get Giuliani here soon, then we can just go and take chat. We're going to do some extensive chat with you today. Former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. So
from the White House. That is
let's see
one
what
of the
they're
things
saying.
that they've really wanted to get to the bottom with some of these high-ranking officials who, frankly, had a lot of concern after what they saw on January 6th. We know that a handful of high-ranking officials have already...
Talk about sleight of hand right now.
Yeah.
Like, oh, look, January 6th? January 6th, huh? It's like a photographer with a rattle for a baby. Huh? See the January 6th? See the January 6th? Hold on a second. Does it have anything to do with it? You went there as classified. Is this a January 6th thing? January 6th. January 6th. Come on, look over here. January 6th. Rattle.
She looks like she should be reporting from a black leather sofa.
Yes, she does.
Doesn't she?
She usually does. They told her it was unprofessional.
Around January
Look
6th
into
and
the
afterwards. And
look at this camera.
Yes, please inform us. Courtney Love Stunt Double.
Thank you so much for that. Back with me now, Caitlin Collins,
you,
Paul
Hole.
Callan, and CNN's Dana Bash. Dana, focusing in on the Trump cabinet, and as Sarah was laying out, specifically on the conversations around the 25th Amendment, what does that tell you about where the committee is, what path the committee is headed down now?
This is why we have this here, just so you know. A lot of shows, either they do live programs where it's just people talking, or they pre-tape these kinds of programs. And by the way, we know this because we've spoken with people at YouTube extensively. They recommend that we don't go live. They don't want you to go live because it's risky, right? Nothing up our sleeve. That's why we have CNN up here. We don't pre-tape these things. The only things we ever pre-tape sometimes are Ash Wednesdays. That's the only thing we pre-tape. And obviously the sketches, things like, because we want you to experience this with us right now live. Do you see what's happening right now? Go look at your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter. Go talk to your friends. Go out into the real world, discuss with your social circle. See if they're discussing Pompeo testifying before the January 6th committee, or the raid, the unprecedented FBI raid on President Trump's house. We've always wanted to think that there's someone who knows what they're talking about in media. People used to think like Walter Cronkite. No, It was always horse shit. They're not giving you news that you need to know. They are always selecting news that they want you to hear. That's what they do. That's their job. They're incapable of anything else. So just let this sink in. There has never been an unbiased media. There has never been unbiased journalism in this country. We all like to think that there's some experts sitting there going like, this is something that Americans have to know. That's never been the case. They say, how do we want to craft it? Just like a political campaign. All right, I believe we have America's mayor coming up here. We have Rudy Giuliani on the line.
Ooh. Who's that?
All right, there you are, Mr. Giuliani. How do you prefer to be referred to, Mr. Giuliani? You prefer mayor? You prefer
Rudy.
Rudy. Well,
Mayor Giuliani.
She likes Mayor Giuliani, and I like Rudy.
Okay, I just heard her say Mayor Giuliani. I don't want to say Rudy because then Gerald's going to get all aroused. He went to Notre Dame and think of that crappy film where the guy didn't deserve to be on the field.
Call me Rudolph like my mother did.
There you go.
Oh, did she do that when you were in trouble?
No, she called me that all the time.
Well,
she said, that's what I named you, and that's what I'm going to call you.
Well, that's actually was a distinct name until that little prick reindeer had to ruin it for the rest of you. So
made my kindergarten very tough.
I can imagine. Yeah, just ask Blitzen. Now, Mayor Giuliani, you're in the same office, I believe. One time one of the times you were a guest on this program, and we last spoke. And by the way, people can, of course, you can listen to his podcast at Rudy Giuliani's Common Sense. You can listen to it wherever podcasts are. You can follow him on Twitter at Rudy Giuliani.
GiulianiCS.com.
Okay, there you go. Because I didn't want to say Mayor Giuliani and then get the plug wrong. Let me first ask you something before we get to you having been raided. This is why I wanted to have you on, because you have firsthand experience. Is this unprecedented?
Pardon me?
Is this unprecedented, what they've done with...
incredibly unprecedented in many different ways. First of all, it's the first time that a president has authorized, and of course his administration, a criminal action against his predecessor.
Right.
I mean, we've had a couple of centuries of history, and we've avoided the practice in banana republics and fascist states of the practice of putting your predecessor in prison. And this is the first time any president has ever done that. I mean, even when Trump was confronted with lock her up, lock her up, lock her up, every place he went, he never restarted the criminal case against Hillary Clinton.
Right. And she wasn't president. She was just not sleeping with him.
But I mean, she was the Secretary of State and the wife of the president and his opponent. Right. So we're breaking an unwritten rule that has kept us a democracy and kept us different than a fascist state. Also, you can't see this in a vacuum.
Right.
They've been hounding him they've been trying to frame him for a crime for 7 years.
Yes.
They're not able to articulate what this crime is. This is some kind of alleged record violation.
Yeah, they said mishandling of classified information. I want to make sure the audience hears it from you. A former president, right? Just to be clear, of course, many former presidents still have access to classified information. The media has tried to imply that that is somehow illegal. It's not. Their claim is that he wasn't handling it properly, right?
Which I would imagine every single president putting together a presidential library makes that mistake 100 times.
Yes.
This has never been pursued criminally ever before. This is, again, one of these things where they never have pursued anyone criminally but Trump people. I mean, the same thing was true with the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act until they got to Manafort. People got to pay fines for that.
Right.
Manafort went to jail and was put in solitary confinement for doing something that had just about never been prosecuted criminally. Here's the real issue. They've investigated this man for 7 years and they can't find a real crime.
Right.
A crime that you and I would relate to as like stealing money, like Biden did, like taking bribes,
right?
Like carrying around a .38 revolver when you're a drug addict, which is a 10-year felony,
and like throwing it in a trash can by a school.
That's a real crime.
Yeah.
Being involved in a $3.1 million money laundering transaction where Biden, on record, gets $800,000 when he's the vice president of the United States. That's called bribery. That's a real crime. I can describe those crimes. This is a dispute over records are classified or not, or who gets to classify whether they're presidential. The reality is, by taking them from the White House, that mere act alone could declassify all these papers.
Right.
The president gets to classify and declassify.
Right.
When he ordered their removal, he was the president.
Yeah.
Number two, they stayed. The FBI padlocked this room a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
They just went and broke the padlock they put there.
I know.
They lost the key. Just
like flowers in the attic.
Remember the idiot in front of Gates, Representative Gates, who lost a hard drive?
I know that.
I sent out a tweet. I said, if you want a hard drive, I got a couple extra copies.
Right. I know.
I tried to give it to you when you raided my house and you didn't want it. Now they lost the hard drive. They went there a few weeks ago. They searched the whole place. They saw everything. They said it wasn't secure enough. So they put in an additional padlock, their own.
Yeah.
And when they came in, they didn't bring the key for it, so they had to crack it open. And they looked at and they took the same things they looked at a couple of weeks ago.
Well, to be fair, it may not have been secured well enough if the FBI were in fact the ones securing it. You know, they probably
that's absolutely
like gym school lock. Yeah, let's just put that on there for let's call it a day. And by the way, Hillary Clinton didn't just take documents; she took the W's off the keyboard when they were leaving,
which is kind of funny.
It is kind of funny.
It's a combination. One of them just forgot the 5.
Yes, exactly.
Kind of funny.
So it is unprecedented, and it's a very, very damaging thing to do. I mean, we're just about at the end of really saying we have a fair system of justice.
I think we are at the end.
We have two standards. We've had for 5 years outstanding criminal cases against the Bidens.
Yeah.
Not just the son and the president, but the brother. None of them have been raided. None of them have been searched. None of them have been brought before a grand jury. None of them have been arrested.
Right.
Meanwhile, the Trump people get searched, and then they don't find anything.
Well, here's my question, because
they haven't apologized to me.
Well, I wouldn't hold your breath for that. But let me ask you this: you on this program actually was the first time the public saw the Hunter Biden laptop, and then we had you back on when the FBI raided your private offices. They didn't take that laptop. What did they take?
They took all of the electronics in my house.
Okay.
And all of the electronics, and this is really a constitutional violation, in my law office.
Ah, yeah.
Much of which didn't relate to Donald Trump.
Of course.
That is a gross violation of the Sixth Amendment.
Yeah.
And the only lawyers who get searched are Trump lawyers. I never searched a lawyer when I was in the Justice Department.
No,
I always thought there was a Sixth Amendment called attorney-client privilege. Well, Biden has done away with that. No attorney-client privilege for Trump.
Think about that double standard. People who
searched here and they searched my law office.
Yeah. Think about that.
And they returned everything to me.
Right.
I have everything back because as I told them then, have me come in and ask me questions and I'll answer them. They took a year and a half to say yes to that. I finally went in. I spent 4 hours with them. And what I told them at the beginning is true. I'm not stupid. I don't commit crimes.
Right.
I was a U.S. attorney for 17 years. I know what crimes are and what they're not. Now, you're going to go make up crimes on me. I can't do much about that.
Right.
But I don't commit crimes. I just don't.
Well, think of the double standard. You have Republicans, you have conservatives out there, and this is what we're talking about. I mean, for crying out loud, Dinesh D'Souza had to wear an ankle bracelet because he gave money to a friend's campaign beyond the maximum allowable amount, who lost, just to be clear. Again, these are things where usually someone gets fined, and if you're a Democrat, you don't get fined. But think about this. You're talking about attorney-client privilege, and it's something that I know very well. Conservatives, Republicans out there right now are afraid to even keep notes or what they discuss with their lawyer because even though it's their constitutional right, they're concerned that that could be raided. Meanwhile, Hunter and Ashley Biden leave a paper trail longer than a Circuit City receipt of every misdeed they've committed because there's no fear of retribution whatsoever. They'll walk right past the hard drive in your office to grab shit they have no right to grab from you. Pardon my language.
Right. And they go out and say, I never spoke to any of my son's foreign clients. And there are 17 pieces of evidence of 17 different meetings with foreign clients, including Chinese communists, with Joe Biden when he was the vice president.
Yeah.
Disgustingly selling his office. This guy got $31 million from China.
I know.
China's our enemy. That's not a national security problem? And a couple of papers sitting behind padlocks in Maralago that nobody even knows what they are. What kind of national security problem could they be?
Right. Well, to be fair, also, too, Joe Biden was just he was loaning his office to Eric Swalwell for his practices with the Chinese spies. Look, I want to, and we'll actually talk about that. He actually went after me on Twitter. Eric Swalwell. Think about this like you're talking. I'm going, what wormhole did I fall into where Eric Swalwell has any...
Who went after him or his Chinese communist sisters?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. She could be running his social media at this point. I think he's dating a Russian spy now.
She's actually more of a patriot.
Yes, she's more of a patriot than Eric Swalwell. We're going to go here because I want to ask you about next steps to Mug Club, so we're not on YouTube, so that way we don't need to worry about any hot water again. The Twitter is at Rudy Giuliani, and the podcast is, let me make sure I get this right. I want to make sure I read everything correctly. It is Rudy Giuliani's Common Sense. Right now, YouTube, thank you so much. This is a day that is going to live in infamy, and I'm no longer comfortable discussing this with you. We'll take some of your questions here for America's Mayor Giuliani. YouTube, piss off.